You know what love looks like when it's real? It's not the grand gestures or the perfect words. It's a woman standing in her garden at dawn, harvesting bitter melon with dirt under her nails, thinking about the man she loves and the decision she's about to make. A decision that will change everything. This is Tu Tien's story. And today, we're going to watch her do something extraordinary. Not with drama or tears, but with the quiet strength that only true love can give. Let me take you to Vietnam, to a small farm where the morning sun is gentle and the air smells like wet earth and hope. Tu Tien wakes up early, like she always does. There's work to be done. The bitter melon vines are heavy with fruit, ready to be picked. But today, there's something different in the way she moves through the garden, something purposeful. Because while her hands are busy with the harvest, her mind is somewhere else entirely. She's thinking about Jack, about the bank debt that's been hanging over them like a storm cloud, about the stress she sees in his eyes every morning when he thinks she's not looking. And she's thinking about the farm, this beautiful place they've built together, where they've learned what it means to be a family. Here's what nobody else knows yet. Tu Tien has already made up her mind. She moves through the garden with practiced ease, her fingers finding each bitter melon, testing its firmness, checking the stems. These are good ones, young, tender, still wearing their flowers like crowns. The kind that will sell quickly at the market. She fills her basket slowly, methodically. There's no rush. Or maybe there is. But she's learned to hide it behind steady hands and a calm face. The bitter melon harvest is abundant today, basket after basket. Each one represents a few thousand zhong, a small contribution to the mountain of debt they're climbing. But Tu Tien knows something that makes her hands move just a little faster. Money from bitter melon sales won't be enough. It will never be enough. That's not despair talking. That's clarity. By mid-morning, she's at the market. This is where you see the real Tu Tien, the woman who can smile at strangers and make them feel like family. Buy some, ma'am. These bitter gourds are delicious. Her voice is warm, inviting. The older women at the market love her. They always have. She's polite, patient, never pushy. She weighs each portion carefully, makes change with a smile, says, "Thank you," like she means it. And she does mean it. Every small sale matters today. These bitter gourds are still young, ma'am, because the tops still have lots of flowers. She holds one up, showing the delicate blooms still clinging to the stem. The woman nods, impressed. I picked them from the garden this morning. Fresh, honest, real. That's Tu Tien's brand, though she'd never call it that. The sales go well. Better than expected. 1 kilogram, then another, then 3 more. The basket empties steadily. 15,000 zhong here, 20,000 there. Small amounts that add up. But even as she counts the money, even as she thanks each customer, there's a thought running underneath everything. This isn't the solution. This is just today. Let me ask you something. Have you ever loved someone so much that you'd give up the thing you love most just to see them smile again? That's where Tu Tien is right now. Standing in a crowded market, selling bitter melon, knowing that tonight she's going to offer Jack something that will break her heart to give. But here's the thing about Tu Tien. She doesn't see it as heartbreak. She sees it as love in action. By afternoon, the basket is empty except for a few pieces she's saved for dinner. She stops by the butcher's stall, buys pork to make floss, plans the menu in her head. Bitter melon soup, stuffed bitter melon. Stir-fried bitter melon with eggs. It's going to be a feast, not a celebration, not quite. More like a punctuation mark. The end of one chapter maybe, and the careful beginning of another. She walks home with her empty basket and her full heart. The sky is doing that thing it does in Vietnam, shifting from bright sun to moody grey in the span of minutes. It might rain, it might not. Tu Tien has learned not to worry too much about things she can't control. What she can control is dinner and the conversation that will follow. At home, Mew the cat greets her at the door, weaving between her legs, demanding attention. Tu Tien feeds her, scratches behind her ears, talks to her the way you talk to animals when you're really talking to yourself. Eat up, okay? It's getting late. The cat doesn't care about bank debts or farm sales or life-changing decisions. The cat just wants dinner. Simple, pure. Tu Tien wishes everything could be that simple. She starts cooking. Rice first, the foundation of every Vietnamese meal, the thing that turns ingredients into family. Then the bitter melon, prepared 3 different ways because Jack works hard and deserves variety. Her hands know these movements by heart. Chop, season, stir. The kitchen fills with familiar smells. Comfort food, home food. And somewhere between stirring the soup and stuffing the bitter melon, Tu Tien makes peace with what's coming. She's going to tell Jack tonight that they should sell the farm. Not because she wants to. God knows she doesn't want to. This place has become her whole world. The garden, the animals, the quiet mornings, and the simple work that makes her feel useful and needed and whole. But Jack is drowning. She can see it. And if selling the farm is what it takes to help him breathe again, then that's what love requires. The decision sits in her chest like a stone, heavy but steady, unshakable. She calls Jack. "Hello, Jack. Are you coming home soon?" Her voice is light, casual, giving nothing away. "I'm back from the market. I was about to cook rice. When you're done, come home and eat." She lists the menu: bitter melon soup, stuffed bitter melon, stir-fried bitter melon with eggs. 3 dishes from 1 humble vegetable. That's Tu Tien's magic. Making abundance from simple things. Jack says he'll be home soon. She can hear the tiredness in his voice, the weight he's carrying. Just a little longer, she thinks. Hold on just a little longer. The food is almost ready when the first drops of rain start to fall. Here's what you need to understand about timing. Tu Tien could have this conversation any time. Over breakfast, during a quiet afternoon, even on the phone. But she chooses dinner. And that's not an accident. In Vietnamese culture, the dinner table is sacred ground. It's where families come together, where problems get smaller because they're shared, where love shows up in the form of carefully prepared food. Tu Tien knows this. She's counting on it. Because what she's about to propose isn't easy, and it needs to happen in a place that feels safe. Jack arrives home just as the rice finishes steaming. His face is tired, not just end-of-day tired, but soul-deep exhausted. The kind of tired that comes from carrying worry like a backpack you can't take off. He manages a smile when he sees her. "You've finished cooking?" His voice lifts a little. That's what Tu Tien does to him. She makes heavy things lighter. "I just finished, sir." She gestures to the table, already set. 3 dishes, all variations on the same humble ingredient. "Go wash your hands, and then we'll eat." Jack pauses in the doorway, taking it in. The spread, the care. The woman who made all of this happen with dirt-stained hands and a determined heart. "You cooked so many dishes," he says softly. They all look delicious. They sit, they eat. For a few minutes, it's just the simple pleasure of good food and quiet company. Tu Tien watches Jack take his first bite of the stuffed bitter melon, sees his eyes close briefly in appreciation. "It's very delicious, Tu Tien." He sounds surprised, like he's surprised every time, like he can't quite believe his luck. She fills his bowl again, and again. Eat a lot, sir. That's love in 4 words. Fill your belly. Take what you need. Let me take care of you. Jack notices her voice. It's been hoarse lately, rougher than usual. I'll make you some honey to drink later, okay? His concern is genuine, immediate. Even exhausted, even drowning in his own problems, he's thinking about her health. That's the kind of man he is. And that's exactly why Tu Tien is about to do what she's about to do. The meal stretches out, unhurried. They talk about small things. The weather, the market, Mew the cat, who keeps eyeing the table like she might jump up and claim her share. Normal conversation, safe territory. But underneath, there's a current. They both feel it, something waiting to be said. Finally, when the bowls are nearly empty and the urgency of hunger is past, Tu Tien speaks. Her voice is casual, but her hands are very still. After dinner, I really have a lot to say to you, Jack. Jack looks up, nods. Okay. He doesn't ask what about. He trusts her enough to wait. They finish eating. Jack helps clear the table without being asked, carrying dishes to the kitchen, moving around her in the comfortable dance of 2 people who've learned each other's rhythms. Tu Tien puts leftovers in the refrigerator, thinking about how they'll eat this again tomorrow, and maybe the day after. Stretching resources, making things last. That's been their life for weeks now. They sit again, this time with water instead of food. The transition from dinner to conversation. Jack waits, patient, trusting. And Tu Tien takes a breath. How did things go with the bank today, brother? It's a gentle opening, not accusatory, not panicked. Just a question between 2 people facing the same storm. Jack's shoulders drop a little. I worked with the bank today and they got an extension of more than 10 days for us to pay the money, Tu Tien. 10 days. That's all. 10 days to find money they don't have, to solve a problem that's bigger than their combined strength. But Jack says it like it's good news, like he's bought them time, like time is the same as a solution. Tu Tien knows better. What are you thinking about, Jack? Her voice is soft, careful. She's about to step onto ground that might break under their weight, and she's testing each step. Jack is quiet for a moment. Then, maybe we should just sell this farm. There it is, the thing neither of them wanted to say first. And here's what's remarkable. Tu Tien doesn't react with shock or protest. She doesn't cry or argue, because this is exactly where she was already headed. Jack just got there first. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about it, she says, and now her words come faster, like she's been holding them back and they're finally free to rush out. Seeing you work so hard these past few days, even selling the car. Anyway, we still have a farm down there, so we can go back there to live. She's talking about the other farm, the smaller one. The one that doesn't carry memories of their happiest days, but also doesn't carry the weight of impossible debt. A fresh start. Or maybe just a strategic retreat. For me, having this time here is already a great happiness. Her voice cracks just slightly on that word. Happiness. Because it's true. Every moment on this farm has been precious. But precious things sometimes have to be traded for necessary things. Jack is staring at her, really seeing her. This woman who harvested bitter melon at dawn, sold it at market, cooked him 3 different dishes, and is now calmly proposing they sell the place she loves most in the world, all to ease his burden. But now, the important thing is to solve the immediate problem. Tu Tien continues. Her voice is steady now, determined. I know Loy's mother is also thinking a lot. The house and your company are both important to me. Maybe we should just sell half of the farm up here, and then I'll go back down there. I think that's the most reasonable thing. Reasonable. She makes it sound so logical, so simple. Like you can calculate love and sacrifice on a balance sheet and come out even. Jack shakes his head slowly. Okay, I'll figure it out. But his voice says something else. It says, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you love me this much. And here's where Tu Tien shows you who she really is. Not a victim, not a martyr, just a woman who's done the math and knows what needs to happen. The most reasonable thing to do is to handle it slowly, you know? My life before was much more terrible, but since I met you, I've lived truly happy days and had everything I need. She's giving him context, perspective. Her life before Jack was hard, genuinely hard, and this farm, this relationship, these months of peace have been a gift she never expected. So giving some of it back doesn't feel like loss. It feels like gratitude in action. Now that you're in trouble, I can't help you at all, and you're left worrying about money. Her frustration breaks through for just a second. The helplessness of watching someone you love struggle while your hands stay empty. I feel so sorry for you. Just listen to me, just this once. Just this once, like she's asking for a favor instead of offering a sacrifice. We'll find someone and transfer ownership of this farm to them, she says. Each word deliberate, final. Then I think you'll focus on work and earn a lot of money. If you're always worrying about money like this, we can earn it back. That's her vision. A temporary setback followed by recovery. She's already written the comeback story in her head. They'll sell, they'll stabilize, Jack will work without the crushing weight of debt, and eventually, they'll build something new. The rain outside picks up. Soft at first, then steady. The kind of rain that nourishes rather than destroys. Inside, Jack and Tu Tien sit across from each other, and between them is a decision that hasn't quite solidified yet, but is getting closer with every word. Okay. Thank you, Tu Tien, for thinking of me like that. Jack's voice is thick. Let me think about it. Is there any other way? But they both know. There isn't another way. Not one that makes sense. Not one that doesn't involve more waiting, more stress, more nights of Jack lying awake calculating impossible numbers. Tu Tien leans forward slightly. One more push. One more reason. If not, I've been stressed about these things for days already. Let's just decide like this. We'll find someone, transfer ownership of the farm, and we'll stay down there until things are stable. Then we'll figure things out again. She makes it sound temporary, manageable. Just a chapter, not the whole book. And maybe that's exactly what love does. It takes impossible situations and finds the one angle where they become bearable. You know what breaks faster than glass? The moment when someone you love tries to apologize for something that isn't their fault. Jack's voice drops to almost a whisper. I'm sorry, Tu Tien. I've made you worry so much about your situation. And just like that, Tu Tien stops him. Her hand reaches across the table, not dramatically, just a gentle touch on his arm. The kind of touch that says, listen to me now. Really listen. In this story, neither Mother Loy, nor you, nor I are at fault. Her voice is firm, clear. This is important, and she needs him to hear it. So, there's no need to apologize to each other. We just need to be there for each other through difficult times, no matter what. I think that's the most important thing. Let me tell you why this matters. In Vietnamese culture, there's a whole vocabulary of apology and guilt, of taking responsibility even when circumstances are beyond your control. It's respect, yes, but sometimes it's also a trap. Jack could spend years apologizing for a debt that wasn't his choice, for a situation that spiraled beyond anyone's prediction. And Tu Tien, she could spend just as long feeling guilty for not earning enough, not doing enough, not being enough. But she's refusing that trap. Right here, right now, at this kitchen table with rain falling outside and Miu curled up on her favorite chair, Tu Tien is drawing a line. No blame, just love. Right now, trying to figure out who's at fault and then apologizing feels so formal, she continues. There's almost a smile in her voice. We're family, right? We're family. 3 words that redefine everything. Not landlord and tenant, not CEO and farm girl, not even just husband and wife. Family. The kind that weathers storms together without keeping score. Jack nods slowly. The weight on his shoulders hasn't disappeared, but it's shifted somehow. Shared. Yes, I know. We'll try to get through this difficult period. He looks at her with something close to wonder. You're always the pillar of support for me and Mother Loy, so I want you to stop worrying so much and focus on your work. Live a happy life. He's still trying to protect her. Even now, even when she's the one proposing the sacrifice. That's Jack. That's why this works. Tu Tien smiles. A real smile this time, not the careful one she wears at the market or the gentle one she uses to soothe worry. The farm can be big or small, as long as we can be together, brother. As long as we can be together. That's the answer to everything, isn't it? All the questions they've been wrestling with, how to pay the debt, where to live, what to sacrifice, they all dissolve into this single truth. The farm is just a place. Money is just paper. What matters is the space they occupy side by side. Jack reaches for her hand. Thank you, Tu Tien. Thank you for understanding and sharing your life with me. I will try harder so that Mom and you don't have to suffer in life. There's that word again, suffer. But here's what Jack doesn't quite understand yet. Tu Tien isn't suffering. That's not what this is. She's choosing. She's deciding. She's loving with her whole, practical, determined, dirt under her fingernails heart. And there's freedom in that. Power even. There will always be things that we can't predict, brother. Her voice is softer now, philosophical. Sometimes life goes according to our wishes, but sometimes it encounters difficulties. It's simple wisdom, the kind you learn from harvesting vegetables through unpredictable weather, from selling at markets where customers come or don't come, from building a life that depends on rain and sun and forces beyond your control. You can't predict everything, but you can decide how you'll respond. The conversation shifts then. Not in topic. They're still talking about the farm, the decision, the uncertain future, but in feeling. The heavy part is done. The hard words have been said. Now it's just 2 people planning their next steps, figuring out logistics, trying to imagine what comes after. Okay, let me think about this, Jack says, but his tone has changed. It's not the overwhelmed thinking of someone drowning. It's the productive thinking of someone with a plan. Besides, I also want to tell Mom, I'm afraid she'll be upset if we sell. Mother Loy, the 3rd pillar of their small family. She'll need to know. Of course she will. But Tu Tien shakes her head gently. Actually, Mom and I always want you to have a happy life. So I'm afraid that telling Mom will only make her worry more. She's thought this through. Every angle. Every consequence. Maybe you should just find someone and then we can decide on our own and tell Mom later. It's not about hiding things. It's about protecting someone they both love from unnecessary anxiety. Mother Loy has worried enough. Let the decision be made first. Let the solution be in motion. Then tell her when there's progress to report, not just problems to share. Jack considers this, nods. Okay. Outside, the rain continues its steady rhythm. Inside, the decision settles into place like sediment after a storm. Not perfect, not what they would have chosen if the world were fair, but real, doable, theirs. They sit together in the kind of comfortable silence that only comes when big things have been discussed and resolved. Miu stretches on her chair, utterly unconcerned with human dramas. The kitchen still smells faintly of bitter melon and pork floss. The dishes are washed and put away. Everything is clean. Everything is ready for tomorrow. And here's what you need to know about Tu Tien and Jack. They're not defeated. They're not even sad, not really. Because what happened tonight wasn't loss. It was love taking a different shape. It was two people looking at an impossible problem and finding the one possible solution, even if that solution costs them something precious. The farm can be sold. The debt can be managed. The smaller farm down south can become home. And through all of it, the paperwork, the transition, the adjustment to a new normal, they'll have each other. That's not nothing. That's everything. Tu Tien stands first, stretching slightly. It's late. You should rest. She's already thinking about tomorrow. The garden that will still need tending. The animals that will still need feeding. The work that continues regardless of life's complications. That's who she is. That's who she's always been. Someone who keeps moving forward, one practical step at a time. Jack stands too. He looks at her, really looks, and you can see in his face that he understands. Not just what she's giving up, but why. Not just what she's proposing, but what it costs her. And underneath that understanding is something stronger than gratitude. It's partnership. It's the recognition that this woman, this remarkable woman who harvests bitter melon and cooks 3 different dishes and offers up the thing she loves most without drama or fanfare. This woman is his equal in every way that matters. They walk together toward the bedroom. The rain has gentled to a whisper. Tomorrow will come with its own challenges and small victories. But tonight, they've done something important. They've chosen each other over everything else. They've chosen peace over pride. They've chosen to be family in the truest sense of the word. And maybe that's what love looks like when it's real. Not the grand gestures or the perfect words. Just 2 people at a kitchen table, making hard decisions with soft hearts, finding ways to carry each other through the storms. The farm will be sold. But what they've built together, the trust, the partnership, the quiet understanding that shows up in a bowl of rice and a basket of bitter melon, that can't be sold. That goes with them wherever they go. That's the foundation they'll build on next. As Tu Tien turns off the kitchen light, she allows herself one small moment. A breath, a pause. Tomorrow she'll be practical again, strong again, moving forward again. But tonight, just for a second, she lets herself feel the weight of what she's offered and the relief of knowing it was the right thing. Then she moves forward. Because that's what love does. It doesn't stop to count the cost. It just keeps moving, keeps choosing, keeps showing up in all the small and necessary ways. And somewhere in the darkness, Miu the cat purrs contentedly on her favorite chair, completely unaware that anything important has happened at all.